What's up, guys? It's Big Gabe for Straight-2-DVD Entertainment. If you recall in my introduction video, I talked about how I was going to review straight-to-DVD films. I decided what I'm going to do is, when I watch those films, I'm just going to combine them all into one video. A straight-to-DVD film just doesn't deserve its own video. At least I don't think so. I'm going to show you 5 movies that are on DVD now and one that is coming up soon. The first film is called The Night Templar. If you look at the cover, it looks like a very action-packed, very exciting, epic film. It's not quite that exciting. In fact, it's very dull. Honestly, it's over 2 hours. And it's more of a love story. Basically, it's about this douchebag who impregnates a woman who's promised to another man. She is disgraced and she's sent to a convent. On is then sent to the Crusades, where he must fight with the Templars against Saladin. Now, this movie is bullshit. Because, I mean, to become a Templar, it takes years to become that. You have to take certain vows. This guy does all this in like a few months. Now, it's a 2007 Swedish film. It's barely making its way to the States. And if anybody was waiting for it, which I doubt, it certainly was not worth the wait. I gotta give it 2 stars out of 5. It's got some beautiful photography. The battle scenes, well, I think there was like 2 of them, they suck. They look like they could have been on the Disney Channel. On The Night Templar, just toss that one out. The next one is called Manson. My Name is Evil. Now, I don't condone the actions of a serial killer or a cult leader, but one thing I will admit is I do find those kind of people fascinating. Just the idea that one man can influence a great many to do devious things. Charles Manson was that kind of guy. This movie, kind of figured it was going to be interesting. I watched it with a friend. We both had the same thoughts. We both thought it was going to be the same thing. Really, it's more about some Christian kid who, his family's hardcore born-again Christian, and he gets called into jury duty where he is sitting there watching the trial of Manson and 3 of his girls after they've killed many people. And he finds himself falling into temptation for one of the girls, and honestly, no, you know what, forget it. Honestly, this movie, 1 star out of 5, has very little to do with Manson, and it's not very entertaining. So, this one, honestly, excuse me 1 minute, okay? Excuse me. Where's my fucking phone on you? I'm sorry, I didn't know what came over me. Goodness gracious. Next movie. This movie is called Bangkok Adrenaline. I mean, look at the cover. Look at the cover of that shit. Look at this shit. Look at, it's like a hyped up Goku from Dragon Ball Z. This movie's freaking pathetic. This movie sucks. It took me 3 days to watch a 90-minute movie. I don't know why. I kept going back to it. I guess I'm a glutton for punishment. I'm not even gonna bother to tell you what it's about. I mean, honestly, when you rent a movie like this, you rent it for the action. And the action's okay. It's just actually watching everything else to get to the action, it's not worth it. In fact, the action is kind of corny too. It's filled with so many double takes and triple takes. I mean, honestly, this movie... I missed. Honestly, yeah. This next movie I shouldn't even show you, because I kept falling asleep to it. I put it on too late. I was too tired. But my friend watched it with me and he said it was okay. It's called As Good as Dead. Starring Andy McDowell, Kelly Elway's, who I call the best Robin Hood of all time, with linen tights. And this guy who I call the What Guy. I call him that because he's the one that got shot in Pulp Fiction by Sam Jackson because he kept saying what. My friend said that the story was actually okay. It dragged on a little bit too long. He said something about Kelly Always is accused of doing something that other people do not agree with, and they're torturing him, trying to get the truth out of him. I didn't get a chance to go back to this movie, and to be quite honest, I didn't want to, so I can't rate it. But my friend says it's worth a rental, so I guess if you want, check it out. This one actually made it to theaters, by the way. Limited release, but I don't think anybody saw it. So, As Good as Dead is as good as forgotten with me. This next one, if you're a hardcore Kung Fu fan like me, you should love Kung Fu Master. As if enough movies weren't called Kung Fu Master. This film, honestly, is filmed like shit. It looks like a Korean soap that you find on Channel 18. But it does have some pretty good fight sequences. But that's all it has. That's all it has. There's like long fight sequences, 30 seconds of dialogue, and then another fight sequence begins. It's that kind of movie. I love hardcore. I love Kung Fu movies. I can watch the shitty ones. I can watch the good ones. This one, I would say, is probably a shitty one. But if you're a hardcore Kung Fu fan, it's worth watching for that reason. If you're looking for this movie has no story at all. So if you want a story, don't bother, okay? The last film is Mirrors 2. And yes, it is a direct-to-DVD sequel to that film that came out a couple of years ago with Jack Bauer, aka Kiefer Sutherland. This movie, I hate to do this because this is going to seem like a dated video in like a week, but this movie actually comes out next week, October 19th, I think, 19th. I saw this movie with my friend, and it's okay. The story is slightly better than the theatrical film, but there's like no suspense. It's not very exciting. It's not very involving. In the original, we have Kiefer Sutherland. In this one, we got Nick Stahl, who can probably only be remembered as John Connor from Terminator 3. It also stars Christy Romano, who was the sister in Even Stevens and the voice of Kim Possible. She is naked in the movie. This movie, it's not bad. It's your typical direct-to-DVD sequel. The gore in this movie is actually pretty good. The gore is pretty sweet. But as I said, there's no suspense. No reason to really see it. It's not that good. I'll give it 2 out of 5 stars. It's kind of dragged out. The acting is so-so. But it's not well worth your time. I mean, it's kind of corny, and so this one, I can't give you a good reason to watch it other than the chick from Kim Possible is naked. That's it. And gore. Mirrors comes out next Tuesday. Nah. So there it is. I watched, well, most of those movies, and for the most part, I think I wasted my time, but hey, I do it for you. I do it for you guys. So take what I said into consideration when you go to the video store, or when you see these movies online. And, honestly, that's all I can really say. Check out Kung Fu Master if you love Kung Fu movies. Skip this dull piece of shit. Watch this, you know, if you want a little mystery, I guess. Look at yourself in the mirror instead of watching this. If you have insomnia, check this one out. And if you love your action movies to actually look like shit, check out Bangkok. Oh god, watch this fucking movie, oh god. This is Big Gabe for Straight-2-DVD Entertainment, letting you know that if you're gonna go to the video store and you're gonna rent movies you never heard of, be careful.